First, how would you assess the level of anger in America toward Trump and his policies, his corruption, the Iran war, the Epstein files cover-up, his indifference to the needs of everyday Americans?
Yeah, I think America is at a boiling point with the president. And obviously that's reflected in his approval ratings. But I also I think you can see that in, how people are assessing the various issues, even on immigration. His numbers are down. Some areas that were his previous strengths for him are down. And I think you can look at, broad polling for that, but you can also look at special elections over the last year or so, in which Democratic turnout has been incredibly high. And an important part of this is Republican turnout has been lower. And I think that goes to a really broad point, which is, that Trump is, for the first time, seeing erosion of voters that have stuck with him through much of the last 10 years. So in the first year of his presidency, we saw people, basically people who voted for him once kind of peeled back. People who voted for him in 2024 didn't really like what he was focusing on, kind of took a chance on him. So, a lot of the Latinos and young people and Asians who went to him kind of pulled back. In the last several months, we've seen voters who voted for him 3 times for the first time, actually pulling back. And I think that is the really most crucial element of what's happening in America today.
Yeah, passion on the left and a growing disinterest in participating on the right. I mean, that's, it's encouraging for midterms. It's encouraging for 2028 if it sustains itself. I'm wondering if there's a particular issue, amongst the whole panoply of issues that for you sort of might be the issue, or do you really think it's sort of the combination of everything?
I mean, I think the issue that is driving really Trump's erosion in support with the American people, but even with people who voted for him, is that he promised them that he would bring costs down. A lot of voters who don't pay attention to politics every day, who thought inflation was high under Biden and kind of took a chance on Trump. And what I think has been just a spectacular aspect of the last year and a half, amidst all the corruption, amidst all the, cravenness and just horrors we've seen across the board, is that President Trump believes that his hold on working class people is so great that he can add to their burdens. I mean, so just think about this. These are the people who struggle the most in this economy. They are the people who, our data shows that if they have a $400 expense, it will really push them over the edge. So these are people who are really struggling to make ends meet. And because of the actions of the Trump administration, starting with the tariffs, but going through the Iran war, it's his own decisions that have raised costs for those voters. And what's really important about America that is really different from Putin's Russia or Orban's Hungary is that, people are moving away from them. I mean, as you probably know, Orban was popular for 14 of the 16 years he was in power. It's really in the last couple of years that the corruption got to a point where he lost popularity. And it's, Putin may still be popular. It's hard to assess polls, but he has some level of popular support, obviously, in the country. So America is in a different place. We have an authoritarian leader who, a lot of people sort of took a chance on a strong man, but are now seeing that the president, through his own policies, is making their life harder and harder. And that's, I think, the fundamental issue in American politics today.
They can feel the pain. It's not something that everyday Americans miss. And it surely portrays the lie of he's the voice of the forgotten man, which is
I mean,
part of his ridiculous promise.
Yeah, just think about this, right? People came through, we had inflation in the country during the Biden administration. It was coming down, but people had still experienced price shocks, and particularly if we're struggling, those price shocks are very hard to manage. And then the president comes in and he delivers tariffs. Tariffs across the board, and
it didn't increase manufacturing jobs.
No, I mean, there's actually been a loss of manufacturing jobs. Because the inputs have been tariffed. But I think what's really interesting is, we have a whole discourse about how grocery prices are too high, and Donald Trump has put tariffs on food. And so, and then the other aspect of this is, people experience filling up the gas tank, every week or two. And that has driven up dramatically. And I think what's so fascinating, because it's always been a mystery, like, how do working class people, why do they really like this billionaire? It's, kind of a question. And I think, we forget that, people kind of tell themselves stories. And I think one story they told themselves is that Trump was a champion of them. He would look out for them. And, he cared about issues like Social Security, Medicare, et cetera, when others didn't. And the truth is, in the first
term,
he
cared about putting other people down, right?
Yes,
demonizing people of color, demonizing, the immigrants who are stealing their jobs, all the ways in which he was busy scapegoating others.
100%.
That's a very powerful thing. We've seen that throughout the history of demagoguery in America.
Yes, and I think people who are feeling anxious are are often much more prone to fear. And I think the truth is that he absolutely demagogued. I mean, his whole case in 2024 is your rent is going up because of immigrants, like illegal immigrants coming through. And he stokes fear on a whole range of topics. And I think fundamentally, though, what's good about America is people's own lived experience is driving a sense, particularly amongst, working class women, that, sort of enough's enough. Like, they feel betrayed by the fact that they voted for Trump so many times, and now their life is getting harder. And I do think there's an overlay of his policies and his shakedowns of the super rich in order to, at the same time that he's raising costs for working class people. So, these things come together.